All right. What did you guys think? Those of you guys who participated in the challenge, what are your guys' takeaways? So the challenge was today to a group was in a group of traders were buying and a group of traders were selling. You could only take buys, you could only take sells. So let's just recap that challenge here real quick. So if you look at the challenge, it looks like the sellers won with a profitable day. If you take out Cool's
Te
numbers.
aviso en cuanto haya yo marcado al banco. Punto.
Yes, C. Thanks, Patricia. All right, so if you take out Cool's numbers, and we will let's see what happens. It's still sellers still won, right? So let's look at that. Why?
Well, there wasn't enough buyers. Sellers were.
Why is that? Why is it the case? Right.
Well, the trend was the buyers. The trend was short, so it wasn't in the sellers' favor. I would say it was easier to fix sellers' trades than buyers' trades.
It was easier to fix. That's a great analysis. So if you were into sells, because it is basically this market right here. Let me grab my annotations because I love them. So we basically were trading this. I think we started trading this right here, right, for the last little bit.
Yeah.
In my opinion, there was selling and buying opportunities all over the place. And I was taking, I was able to recover quite a bit. Like I went up about probably in this right here, I was able to make about $400, right? Just on that, because this is my favorite type of market. I was buying, I was selling, I was, because I didn't have the same restrictions that you guys had. And so I was able to do that and make that in this account, right? And I was I got heavy because I got heavy on some of my trades because I knew, one, there's a high probability trade setup. Once I sold right here, I sold at the top of this and I looked for it to come down. And it broke this with the action point. This is where I kind of recovered a lot of my money because I went heavy because it failed to break higher right here. I went heavy and I was able to get and ride it all the way down to where it crossed over right there, right? And so I was able to ride sells all the way down. And that's something that I called for sellers. I said, if it fails to break, it should come back down, right? And I called this one too for sellers. If it fails to break, it could come back down. Now, the fun thing for me was these candles were good, right? And so I hated trading the market this morning. It was just difficult for me. Is like, I don't really have high probability trade setups. It wasn't a market that I like. But when I got into this stuff where the candles were just 5-6 pips of up and down movement, this is where I just gobble up profits right in here, up and down movement, because I'm able to take the profit and then get into some sells. And sometimes I think even on this candle, like I got into a buy here and then I got to the top of that and it sold. It came down right to here and I jumped out in the same candle. So I was able to take profits on the buys, take profits on the sell. It went back up and closed high in the same candle. I love that when you can take advantage of that. I'm not sure if it was this candle or this candle, but I definitely rode this up for the buys. I said, oh, it failed to cross this. So it's leaving the door open for sells. I was able to take advantage of the sell here. It stalled here, so I got out here. So I'm not going to say I took that, but I definitely got out there. So Yeah. So this is the market that I love trading in. This is my recovery market. And you can see I lost today trading for an hour. Right. So whenever we traded this kind of stuff, I was just like, I wasn't confident. Everything I was doing I was losing. And then all of a sudden it gave me the market that I wanted. And in, 40 minutes or so, I was able to recover back to where I was at. So my biggest takeaway from the day is learning how to press the buy and sell button. For me, that was big. And congratulations to me on figuring out when to buy and when to press the buy and when to press the sell button. So that was my biggest hurdle. And I feel stupid about that. But biggest takeaway for everybody on this market is if it's not the market that you shouldn't be trading, that is not giving you confidence in your decision, and you're still going to trade it, go light, right? I started heavy, and that's what got me into trouble today, and then I reduced my position size down, and I was still losing, but the losses weren't as big. And I just was like, this market is not in sync. And then wait for the market to turn. Like the market definitely shifted its bias. And we recognized that once this happened right here, and we were looking at, kind of a wedge situation where it was coming in, thinking, I think it was right here where it started to just shrink. And then all of a sudden it broke down, but it didn't break out. Right. So normally when you get like a wedge, normally it breaks out. And so because it didn't break out, it changed the market structure and kind of ran up, ran down. After this move was done, this market is completely different from this market. Right. And so being able to recognize what type of market that you're in will also help you to identify how to trade. So that's my biggest takeaway, is trying to recognize market structure and is it conducive to your trading style, right? And not every day is going to be a great day. Not every day is going to be conducive to the way that you like to trade. So wait a minute until the market it is conducive. I think as traders, sometimes we force the market into what we want, as opposed to recognizing this isn't the market that I like trading, right? And you don't have to trade. That's the key. You don't have to trade. Now, I kind of do. I kind of have to trade this time frame, right? Because we're here, we're trading together. So I have to trade. But if I was alone and just myself, I probably would not have traded this market. I would have looked at it and said, you know what, after it's doing this, I'm done. I'll step away. I'll come back when the market likes me, or when I like the market. When we're on, when we're on talking terms, I'm going to break up with you, market, but now we're going to come back together. All right, guys. Any other additions, thoughts to that?
My takeaway was I seem to do much better when I'm restricted, or either buy or sell. I think this was a very good exercise. I think we should do that more often. I don't think I'm at the same speed and level, and so like you do, David, you're too fast. You can figure it out quickly. You're used to it. I think for me, when I try to have both buys and sells at the same time, I just mess it up.
Sure, and you're right. And maybe I shouldn't be. I struggle with, like, as a teacher. This is just a teaching moment. I struggle with trading the way I normally trade versus scaling it back and trading as like a level 1 trading, level 2 trading, level 3 trading. And sometimes as a teacher, you kind of need that. You need the basics before you can get into the 101s and the 102s and of trading, right? And so I struggle with that sometimes as teaching. And maybe because this is purely a teaching moment, maybe I can start looking at that and saying, okay, we're just going to cover the basics today, right? and then basic trading, right? But it's very difficult for me as a trader, to be honest with you, when I see an opportunity and I don't jump on it, because I don't care if it's a demo account, a live account, or whatever. If it's there to take, I'll take it. And so I struggle with that too. So, but that's great feedback. And let me ask that question to the group. Would you like to maybe here and there just have periodic sessions where we do just don't necessarily trade the way I trade, where we're just hunting for practice and opportunities? Would that be a benefit? I guess. Let me throw that out to the group. Okay.
What we did today, I think it's beneficial. It kind of solidify how you would buy and likewise how you would sell.
All right.
So, because if you alternate, the next time I'm going to be selling, and the other time then I'll be buying. So after a while, then I think it would solidify both buying and selling executions.
I think I'm going to turn that into, I've been thinking about this for a while, and tomorrow is Friday. Outside of non-farm Friday, I typically don't like trading Fridays because the market structure can change on you really quick. And so maybe on Fridays can be a great day to just turn it into a practice session Friday, right? Instead of trying to trade it. Fridays, a lot of people don't trade Fridays for that reason, but it can give you great. So maybe we'll do that. All right. That being said, yeah.
Maybe you could add a third group, a group that buys and sells.
Ooh.
You have a group that has,
I like that.
A group that does both.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I like that, Debbie. That's a great suggestion. I'm going to
good idea. Yeah. So you could have 3 groups. Yeah.
Right now. And then yes, I like that. All right. I'm going to add that for the next time we do this challenge. But the takeaway from me from that challenge was that I guess you guys are still from everybody that's taken the challenge from last time to this time. I'm trying to find the right words because you guys are trading light still. And you're not seizing the opportunities. So let me just kind of explain that, because I don't, by no stretch of the imagination am I trying to say that you guys should be trading heavier, right? But there is time and place when it's okay to trade heavier. So let me look. So right here, I pulled out in that market. I was able to pull out, 2 to 3%. And I think Nick pulled out a 0.25%, which is great, but everybody else was like just barely pulling stuff out. Now, again, I had the opportunity to buy and sell, so I'm not really going to put a whole ton of stock into this, but that's what I'm starting to see is that, obviously cool swung for the fences, which is fine if that's your trading style. But if you're going to lose 2.5%, you better be able to make 5% in a day, and Cool can, and he does, right? So Cool does make 5%. In fact, yesterday he was telling me he had the best day ever, or was it 2 days ago, where he just killed it, right? And that's fine. But I guess the point that I'm trying to make is that particularly in a demo, in a practice session, you should start feeling comfortable to go outside of your comfort zone, of your comfort range, right? Okay. And so when you see opportunities, practice taking them, right? Until you get to and also practice fixing them. And Cliff did a great job of fixing his trades. But the only thing I would say, Cliff, that you missed is the opportunity to go heavier on high value trading opportunities. Does that make sense?
Okay. I got you.
And let me
But
define.
I should be able to identify them, because
Right.
maybe not going on them, I didn't identify them as high.
And that's a great comment that Hobble Wobble I just says. It is that it's difficult to know how heavy when we don't know when we're going to finish. So okay, that's a good point. So if like there was a hard cutoff, that's true, but it's not necessarily of like the what I want to say is like when I say heavy, everybody has their own interpretation of what heavy means. But when I say heavy in the terms of a wobble technique, I'm talking 2 to 3 layers in the same area. Okay. I'm not talking all of a sudden you're maxing out your position size. You never want to max out your position size, but you need to be, if you're trading in an area and you're light, you start out light, see those high value targets. Now do 2 to 3 layers on the 2 to 3 layers in those high value trade targets. And they should materialize within the next bar or two. If they don't, then you need to start lightening that reducing that load. Right. So when I say heavy, I mean 2 to 3 layers on in an area. And if you're not comfortable with 3, start with just doubling your layers. Right. And again, practice before. And so you can hopefully just get it down to where you can react. Right. And in the practice session, when you can get it into a react, and when you're just reacting to the situation, then that's when you can turn it in and put it into live, right? Into a live scenario. All right. Great comments. Great session. We had a couple of great sessions yesterday, today. Loved the challenges. Hopefully you guys are starting to love them too. I think I would, the only thing I'd say is that if you guys are doing it, do it, right? Some of you guys are still not participating in the challenges. I really, really, really believe that that's going to take your trading to the next level, unless you just feel like this challenge I don't need. So if that's the case, hit me up with other ideas. Like Debbie said, to have a buyer and a seller. Any other ideas that you guys are like, hey, this is a challenge, hit me up in Discord, not in Zoom, because as soon as I close this, I'm never going to look at the chat again. It disappears. But in Discord, I want to start. So if you guys are like, hey, this would be a great challenge, hit me up. This would be a great challenge. This is what I need work on, right? Because all I'm doing right now is guessing as to what maybe you guys need work on, right? And what I'm seeing and giving the feedback on how you guys are performing on the challenges is how I'm building the next challenge and the next challenge. And so if I get more participation on the challenges, it'll also tell me where we're at. And just like today, small sample size, but I realized that we have maybe a opportunity for a challenge, some more of those go heavy challenges, like make money challenges, right? So again, hit me up if you guys have some ideas. I'd love to hear them. All right. That being said, thank you guys. I got to take off, but for those of you guys who are in the Wobble crew, we'll see you guys tonight at 7 p.m. my time. And for those of you guys who aren't, we'll see you guys in the morning for some fun practice session. I really do have some fun, something fun planned for you guys tomorrow. So, and we'll look forward to that. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you later.